Mr. Bam. I love Mr. Bam Bam. He's a man of love, agape love. Mr. Bam Bam. I don't know if you can see him. Yeah, it's my bad, Mr. Bam Bam. He is astounding. Ha ha! Mr. Bam Bam. That's right, Mr. Bam Bam. That's right. I'm telling you. Bam. Mr. Bam Bam gets a little pushy. You know what he gets pushy about? Non-judgmental, uplifting, unconditional love. Is that right, Mr. Bam Bam? That's what it's all about. And do the hokey pokey and turn yourself about. But, and do you remember Neil Young? Well, I hope you can laugh. My time, it kind of cracker music. But I'll tell you, truth is truth. Truth is truth. And what a man said? He said, it's only castles burning. Find someone who's turning, and you will turn around. And Mr. Bam Bam, well, he's like a little tugboat for me. That's right. He's just filled with, that A is agape love. B-A-M. A is agape love. That's right. He's just non-judgmental, uplifting, unconditional love. That's what Mr. Bam Bam is. It's good to have around. Thank you, Mr. Bam Bam. Bam Bam. Boom, boom. Mr. Bam. I love you, Mr. Bam. Yeah, you good boy. He's the best boy. He's 3 years old. He's a full-bred Morkie. Didn't have, all these dogs seem to have a horrible story. But he's in my life now. He's trying to guide me in that non-judgmental, uplifting, unconditional love. Newell. Ha ha. It's kind of like the golden rule. It's the ingredients, I'd say, of the golden rule is the Newell. That's right, the Newell. The nectar of all religions it is. I do upset people, but, you're just looking for the truth. And the Apostle Paul said, I was raised an Orthodox Jew. That's right. Anyway, the reality is that my great-grandfather was a rabbi, but at the end of the day, the Apostle Paul went from Saul to Paul, and then, 1 Corinthians 13. That's it. Hagadoody Bob. They want to know how to live. I know you're just going to ruffle feathers. Just read the words of Muhammad. Just Google. Every religion's got its defensive side. Jesus took up a whip and went, wow. He did tell Peter to put down the sword, but, a whip, boom, bang, dippity-doo. Kind of sounds like a rage attack to me. Maybe read the Jehovah God, that is my God, my daddy's God. Like, that was real us. Well, man, God is blue. Like, really, the fear of the Lord. Like, no one wants to deal with this. It's always, God is cruel. And then God shows selective grace to some. And that's cool. And you can try to tie free will in, but no one's going to do anything unless God does it. We're just clay. We don't want to admit it. We really don't know how we got here, do you? But everyone got here, and it's a birthing, and you notice the similarities. There's just too many, and then I have something to tell you, and then I should stop babbling. Well, the reality is that no one knows how we got here. Some kind of reductive thing, and generally, of course, whoever makes something can break the rules. But generally, rhinos are having rhinos. They can't procreate with Mr. Bam Bam. Get it? There's always a lane, and God set it up. Basically, there's 6 or 7 species. That's never changed. Never, 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 never. You got the flying, and you have the swimming, They have to live in those environments. If they don't, they'll die. You can't live in that if you're a human or a mammal. There you go. How about an insect? Oh boy, we got to cohabitate with insects. Wow, I mean, it's pretty. And reptiles, some kind of hybrid. Anyway, I've always thought I hung out with some crocs. And they were cracked. Yeah, they were mad. That's right. They're like, in the water, in the land, in the water. Crazy. Anyway, my point is, everything has to cohabitate. It can't. But everything will keep going. And whether you want to admit it or not, I think highly intellectual people just blink, but isn't it strange, if nothing else? Like the number one problem now in the universal space exploration of all the nations is pollution. And now it's like a country road, like next to two cities. Well, I saw that jurisdiction. And there's like billions of, I don't know how we get to that number, but of like cleanup necessary. You all right, Mr. Bam? So God puts an electric fence around the earth. So we all have to be here. This is just one big terrain. It's just one. I don't even call it a laboratory because it's God's will. Like, this is not the Truman Show. That was being controlled by another human or ideals of humanity and going, well, we ain't doing that. I'm going to be my own person. But we're talking DNA. We're talking, you don't know how you got here. We're talking, we are clay. We're talking, you became what you were because the spirit soul was utilized in a human body, I'm assuming, unless you're a very intelligent animal and you're watching this. Anyway, point is, I have to save this for the end. Like you gotta understand something. It takes more faith to believe this is a cosmic fart. It takes a lot of faith to believe there's designers. I don't know the designers. I'd make every rabbi hate me. I don't know if there's three kazoos. All I know is everything's pre-planned because at the end of the day, there are other constants. Every religious prophet of all religions, they say the same thing. This place is for suffering. You will suffer. It will be chronically unfair. And the reason is that it's impossible to cohabitate. And let me get to the last two, why there has to be designers and why we really don't have a say-so. But we kind of do, and if we do, it's only you study your religion. You study any religion. I'm telling you, the motivation, even the dark religions, they just feel that they are the vengeance of God. And remember, if somebody's coming up and beating you up, trying to rape you, and they want to rape and beat your baby, well, you ain't going to be so unhappy as somebody comes and goes, yeah, you, huh? That's love. My dad, who died a pacifist at 45, a massive heart attack, who didn't have to go to World War II because my mother had so much ridiculous connections of money. And, it's just, my dad said, are you kidding me? He was already slated to be a New York Yankee, I swear. It doesn't mean he would have played, Yankee Stadium, but he was in contract. 18, prearranged basic marriage. And, my mother's so happy because now, they're engaged. Second, that's how Jews do it. But anyway, second date, they're engaged. It was, whatever. A lot of meddling. Yanta, matchmaker, make me a match. So, anyhow, my dad looked at them. He wanted to be nothing else but his grandfather, who was a rabbi. in the old country. My dad was an immigrant son. So, he said, no. How in the world how can I marry my Florences when so many Jews are being annihilated and no one's getting married? So he fought. But he died a pacifist. So I was asking my dad, died when I was 12, and in my arms. And anyway, my dad was the greatest teacher in the world. Just amazing. Like, wow. And so he never yelled at me. Never. My father never yelled at me once. My father never looked at me that way. And it's astounding. Anyhow, so what did I said, Dad, I don't get it. I was always sincere. I was never challenging. He said, well, all truths of God are gray. That's what he would tell me. All truths of God are gray. You don't drive all left. You don't drive all right. Everyone's got to have this. I don't know. Anyhow. But he loved, we had to memorize the book of Proverbs. So, wisdom, applied knowledge for the benefit of everybody. So, he said, Avi, if you got to go to war, and at that time, I think every police car in America had on it, because I always, protect and serve, and that's what he pointed out. He said, I don't know if he used the word bully, but that's what my dad just was so clear about, like Hitler was a bully. So the issue is, if you're going to stop the bully, and that's your motivation, and, well, that's okay. But beyond that, no. And my dad had determined, he was influenced. My dad was so ahead of the game, there wasn't 1 cent of Archie Bunker in my father. He was bringing home articles and literally said to me, Avi, I think God has raised up a Moses for America. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Wow, that was my dad. So, anyway, the point is, my dad was a seeker of truth, and he believed that truth was ultimately to be a good Jew. And he believed strongly that idolatry was kind of what it was pinned on. He would always, our people forgot the poor, our people forgot the oppressed, and then they decided to play with the toys of the people around us. And so everyone says, oh, God judged them for idolatry. And in a sense, yes, and greed, yes, but it was hardness of heart, lack of compassion. And then God just said, oh, well, here you go again. Major time out. And that's the point is, God, but I don't know what the point is. The point is non-judgmental, uplifting, unconditional love. That's the point. That's Mr. Bam Bam. That's what God wants from all of us. So I've got a challenge for you. Put your money where your mouth is. I want you to pick up your phone. I want you to call your closest nursing home. Your religion teaches you that there shouldn't even be nursing homes. I challenge, it's wrong. The 3 generations, that's what God set up. That was just normal. I'm not here to get into any stupid division. I'm just telling you, we're supposed to take care of the elderly. Your religion teaches that, but not in a nursing home. Okay, stupid. That's ridiculous. Why don't put them in a leprosy camp? I mean, what crime did Grandma and Grandpa do but grow old and poor in America? That's just ludicrous. Ludicrous. So, ding-a-ling. Huh. Are you the activities director of XY News Service Nursing Home? Yeah. You know this podcast, Friendathon? Yeah, we do. We've gotten some friends. Are you calling to be a friend? I am. Oh, that's groovy. So, how does this work? Well, yeah, and they'll tell you. They'll just tell you. They'll assign you. And what we want, I just want this. Just want, that's all I want. I want you to go every week, an hour a week, because you're busy. I want you to go 5 hours a week. There's no money. Don't worry about bringing gifts. The gift is friendship. You don't know that, but I do. It's a tangible and tangible. And your religion teaches that too. A friend that sticks closer than a brother. God, two are better than one. All of us. So these people are dying alone. They're all in the Rigby's. That's just disgusting. So no money. It's when you pick up your phone, hello, wow, boom, and pick a day and start going. No agenda. You're not there to sell them, join them, blah, blah, blah. And first 2 months, you better just ask lots of questions. And don't worry about the answers. And just let them know you're interested. And listen. And learn. Have a baton. And a lot of these 3% batteries, they're just waiting to die. They have no friends, Board of the States. Well, you start coming, you're a stronger battery. You might have 42%. I'm not reaching out to, I'm reaching out to people that don't have time. But you're the people that get it. But you're just too busy, so you don't even have time. So you just make the time. Just 1 hour a week, closest nursing home, and just hang out. In the first 2 months, they might reject you. I'm telling you, so many abused people, they just aren't even going to believe you. They're just going to put their porcupine quills out, forgive me, and just go away. It's just going to be another disappointment. But if they hang in there and you just keep coming, you'll sense the connection. Once that connection happens, then take the training wheels off. You talk about whatever you want to talk about. Your friends, you can. I hope you don't argue stupidity. Like, just love each other. Don't major on minors. That dogma is, am God. Everyone knows exactly how God works. Really? Well, that's true. The world isn't working yet, is it? So the point is, but the unification, the blood of all religions is non-judgmental, uplifting, unconditional love. And the rules of all religions is the strong takes care of the weak. It's the opposite of the golden calf. It's the opposite of capitalism and dominated hard dictatorial communism. Pure communism is the early church, but no one wants to do that. Anyway, so I'm begging you, be a Bam Bam. Bam Bam's helping me a lot. So you just bam someone with non-judgmental, uplifting, unconditional love. Bam them out. That's the Bam Bam, right? That's right. That's right.